It's Christmas Day. On a remote snowy outpost, Joe and Matt have been living together for 5 years. Being Christmas, there's no work today, so Matt suggests him and Joe get drunk. Joe hasn't talked to Matt in these 5 years. Matt wants to talk to him. Joe asks him what he wants to talk about. Matt wants to know why Joe is here, because no one ends up here without messing up real bad. Joe says this is a job, not jail. Matt thinks it's the same. Joe turns this around and asks Matt what went wrong for him. Matt tells him that he used to be a love guru. He used to coach people to seduce women, while other men watched. They used an implant called Z-Eyes, which live streams the user's vision and hearing. Flashback reveals, Matt was helping a member, Harry, to seduce a woman, talking to him via the implant. Harry goes to a Christmas party. Harry keeps talking to him out loud, which Matt tells him not to. Matt guides Harry to the bar. They shortlist a dark-haired girl, Jennifer, for their target. Matt searches her info online. He goes over and talks to the group. The two girls introduce themselves to him. He talks to the blonde girl and ignores Jennifer. The tactic here is to ignore the target, so they can naturally lean in. But Jennifer is content with being ignored. She is an outsider. A whole community of men is watching the stream. Matt suggests that Harry go over to the target and just start talking. He tells him to be cynical. Harry successfully manages to get her to talk to him. Matt suggests to take her to some place quiet. He tells Joe that 90% of seduction is just listening, because people want to be listened. Joe looks at the clock, saying in 5 years, he never noticed it before today. Harry and Jennifer bond over their mutual hatred for people. She tells him she's worked for the company for 3 years, but this is her last Christmas party here. She's been planning it forever, just working up the courage. He encourages her to just do it. She accidentally spills her drink on him. She goes to the bathroom. Harry starts talking out loud to Joe, saying he doesn't feel comfortable doing this. He feels like this is cheating. Jennifer sees him, seemingly talking to himself. She asks him to come with her to her place. Matt wants him to say yes. She kisses him. At her place, she is getting some drinks, while Harry talks to Matt, saying he can't do it. Jennifer arrives with the drinks and asks him to get on the bed. She forces him to drink. She tells him that she does it too, talk to the voices in her head, telling her what to do. She stopped taking the pills a long time ago. She was gonna start taking the pills again, but then she met him. She mistook him talking to Matt as him talking to the voices in his head. She tells him that no one understands her either. She decided to die with him when he encouraged her to just do it. The drink was laced with poison. She drinks it and force feeds him too. Matt tells everyone to wipe the recording and leave right now. He tries to get rid of the evidence, but his wife, Claire, notices him. She found out the truth and blocked him. Once blocked, they can't hear or speak to each other. They only appear as a white silhouette. It usually lasts for only an hour. But Claire left him blocked. You can't even take the Z-Eyes out. Matt pours a drink for himself and for Joe. Claire left him and took custody of their daughter, Mel, leaving him in this place. Matt tells him about his job next. A woman, Greta, is preparing for a surgery. She is getting her consciousness cloned and stored into an egg called Cookie to be used as her personal assistant. Doctor arrives and give her anesthesia. Her clone watches herself get out of the body and placed into the cookie. Matt arrives, his job being training the cookie. He talks to the cookie. He tells the cookie that she is a copy of Greta, who is paying for this. They surgically implant a cookie into a client's brain that sits there for about a week, understand the way how that particular mind works. Cookie wants to be put back into her body. He gives her a simulated body and a control room. She can control the real Great's house using the console. He puts some bread in a toaster and asks her to think about how she wants her bread, and then press the button on console. She's in charge of everything, from temperature of the house to ordering the groceries. He shows her the real Greta, sleeping in her room. Cookie starts panicking. He shows her the toasted bread, just how she likes it. She refused to do the job. He makes 3 weeks pass for the cookie, in a matter of seconds, to make her comply. She asks him not to do it again, because there's nothing to do here. She still doesn't want to do it. He makes 6 months pass for her. She begs him to give her something to do. Real Greta arrives. Cookie has finally settled into her job, doing the assistance for real Greta. Waking her up. Preparing tea and toast for her. Setting up appointments for the day. Joe thinks that this is slavery. Matt says that she wasn't real, but Joe argues that in her mind she was real. Matt says that he's empathetic, that makes him a good man. Joe doesn't believe that he is a good man. Matt asks him about it. Joe tells him his story. He had a fiancée, Beth, whose father didn't like him. Joe and Beth are having a karaoke night. They go on a date with a couple from Beth's work. While taking the trash out, Joe notices a positive pregnancy test. He confronts Beth, and she confirms that she's pregnant. Joe is happy, but Beth doesn't want a baby. They get into an argument. Joe gets angry that Beth was pregnant, yet she still drank all night. She blocks Joe. Joe angrily storms out. Next morning, Beth tries to leave, having Joe still blocked. He stays home, and due to the block, he couldn't message her or call her. A week passes, and Joe has started stalking Beth. He tries to talk to Tim and Geeta, the couple they went on date with. They tell him that Beth put in her notice. Nobody knows where she is. The block doesn't just block the person, it also blocks every image of them. So, he couldn't even wallow properly. One day, when he was out of town, he noticed her, still pregnant. She kept the baby. He ran over to her, and started begging her to turn off the block. She had him arrested for harassing her. She got a restraining order, and a legal block. Now he can't get within 10 meters of her. He writes a letter to her dad, begging him to get her to remove the block, but he gets no response. He writes again, and again, and again, but no response. At Christmas Eve, he goes to her dad's place, where she spends her Christmas. He waits there. Her dad arrives with her, and their baby. But he can't see the baby's face, because the legal block extends to offsprings. He can't even tell if it's a boy, or a girl. But seeing something was better than seeing nothing. So, he kept going back. He'd go there every year, and watch from distance. He wanted to make contact, so one Christmas, he left a small present for the kid. For the first time, he could see it was a girl. A few months later, he is watching TV in his home. On the news channel, a train crashed, killing 26 passengers, which included Beth. Which meant, the block died with her, and he can now contact his daughter. He buys a snow globe for his daughter. He goes to the dad's house, and sees his daughter making a snowman. It is then revealed that the daughter is of Asian ethnicity. Beth and Joe both being white Americans means that Beth had an affair with Tim from work. Beth's dad tells Joe that Beth is dead, and there's nothing for him here. Joe says he wants to see his daughter. He attacks Beth's dad with a globe. Beth's dad dies. He remembers the same clock from the cabin. He leaves after that. He drinks and sleeps on the streets. Cops arrive and pick him up. He didn't talk to them. The girl stayed in the house for a while, but realizing no one would come, she left a present for her granddad and went out to get help. She didn't get too far from the house before succumbing to the cold. It is then revealed that Matt was here, in a virtual world, to get the confession out of Joe. Joe disappears. In the real world, cops tell Matt that they have the full confession now. A cop goes over to Joe and tells him that the cookie they took out of his brain has confessed everything. Matt is free to go as part of the deal to get the confession. But he is going to be on the offender register, which means he is blocked by everyone permanently. He goes outside and only sees white silhouettes instead of people, while everyone sees him as a red silhouette, indicating his offender status. The cops change the time settings on the cookie Joe, making it pass 1,000 years every minute, saying this is his proper punishment. Cookie Joe starts breaking things in the virtual world. He breaks the radio, but another radio appears with even louder song. The episode ends with Cookie Joe covering his ear, while I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day plays on repeat. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.